Let's get controversial. Today, I'm going to talk about how spiritual tools aren't business plans. Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Darlene. Of course, I'm Darlene. Now, you might be thinking, oh, but I love all my spiritual tools. You can pull cards for your business, you can journal your vision, you can meditate on your next step, you can receive intuitive ideas, downloads, inspiration, and clarity. Guess what, though? None of those things are actually business plans. And this is where I think that sometimes many business quietly struggle with, especially in spiritual creative spaces. Having a vision for a business and having structure for a business are two very different things. Today, I'm going to talk about the difference between spiritual support tools and practical business planning and why your business needs both. Now, why does spiritual clarity feel like business progress? Ideas create momentum. They create the emotional momentum, the inspiration, the downloads, those intuitive hits that you get. And that creative excitement can feel productive because emotionally something is happening. Now, for me, when I get the downloads, when I get the intuitive hits, when I get all that creativity, oh man, do I feel amazing. Yet it isn't actually progress. Vision can create the illusion of movement. Writing those ideas down, planning in your head, or constantly refining concepts can feel like you're actually building a business, even when nothing operational exists yet. And many women, and I say this from experience, stay in that vision phase. There's that constant brainstorming, the learning, the consuming, the planning, the tweaking, and all that imagination without the grounded implementation. I've been there. I've done that. And I want to say that clarity is not the same as execution. Knowing what you want to create does not automatically build the systems, the structure, the marketing, the finances, or even the strategy required to support it long term. Now, the issue isn't strategy, isn't spirituality itself, because oh man, do I love my spirituality, my intuition, my abilities. I love all of that. When it becomes an issue is when you expect these spiritual tools to do the job of practical business planning. I told you I was getting a bit controversial. Now, a real business plan, it creates direction. It turns ideas into actionable steps instead of vague intentions. This structure creates the decision-making clarity. You have goals, you've got timelines, you've got budgets, you've got the offers that you've created. There's even priorities to everything. And plans reduce constant confusion and emotional reacting. Because when you're not in a beautiful space where you respond, you're actually reacting to everything. This is why having a business plan is so important. I have it. Now, when you think about an actual business plan, it will support long-term function. The business plan helps you understand how the business functions financially, all the operation stuff, and practically over time. Interesting, isn't it? Now, when we actually plan things out, it helps us identify what actually needs to happen. It helps us identify the marketing, how visible we're going to be, the systems that we need, how we're actually going to launch, the client pathways, how are you going to take them through things, the audience growth. Now, of course, that, we do what we can, but of course, social media being social media, we've got to go with it. It can help you understand your finances, what content you need to create, and the workload. All of this needs structure. Now, I want you to understand that a business cannot run on energy alone. Passion, alignment, and intuition do matter. They matter enormously. Yet, business also requires structure, organization, consistency, and implementation. Now, this is where many women start resisting structure because they fear it's going to remove creativity or intuition. And I've had so many people go, oh no, I can't do structure. I can't, it's not me. Well, I'm going to get really blunt here. How do you think all those big businesses work? Even the businesses that are creative, they all have structure. And you're going to tell me, I've got ADHD, I can't do this. And I'm going to get really mean here. Like you might think it's mean. I'm going to get really mean. Frankly, I am sick and tired of people leaning on things like that. Now, I've had symptoms of depression, anxiety, and complex PTSD. I've been there. And I don't lean on that as a crutch. I don't turn around and go, well, I'm feeling emotions. I'm feeling symptoms of depression. So I can't do any structure. I can't do this and I can't do that. Well, guess what? That is where structure will support you even more. As I said, how do you think these creative businesses run? The ones that are making money. They have structure. They have symptoms. They have systems. They have all of this. I want you to go and research. Go and have a look at the creative businesses. Have a look at artists. Have a look at those that are doing the Snail Mail Club. Do you think they just go, oh, well, I'll do sort of this and I'll do that? No, they've got plans. Right. I had to get on that bandwagon because I heard someone say a couple of times now that they don't have patience because they've got ADHD, so they can't have patience. That is the biggest load of what's a door. I can't say it. Just because you have labeled yourself or someone's labeled you with these, and yes, you might get angry at me for calling them labels. Quite frankly, they are. When I let go of labels, I tell you, I moved. Things changed. When you rely on those labels, you're going to stay stuck. When you let go of the labels and you go, okay, this is how I actually work. How can I take the strengths of that and continue with that? And how can I look at the things that don't work quite so well because I've got the symptoms of that? When you start looking at it like that, that is when things will change and you will stop leaning on that as a crutch. Because I tell you, things are going to change soon. People are going to stop relying on all of these things as a crutch. Right. And I want you to understand that structure doesn't kill intuition, it supports it. I am creating these episodes. I record these episodes ahead of time. Because guess what? I am feeling the intuition came through for me to create a couple of episodes. I went with it. And I've got the structure now where these episodes will be scheduled out. I'll have everything done. So I got the intuition hit and I went with it. And I've got the structure to support it. That's what I'm talking about. The structure creates stability. When the foundations of your business are organized, the nervous system often feels safer and less overwhelmed. And I can tell you from experience, it does. Because you don't have to think about things like that. And when you plan things out, it creates more space for creativity. Instead of constantly scrambling or emotionally reacting, there's room for clearer thinking and better decision making. Think about it. You've got a standard operating procedure for your podcast episode. That is a structure. Okay, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. That is structure. That is absolute structure. Because your intuition works best when it has something to actually work with. Ideas become so much more powerful when they can move through the systems, the timelines, the offers, and the practical action. and you become more creative, you become more intuitive because you've got that space. And these spiritual tools can actually support you as the business owner. They can help with self-awareness, reflection, your creativity, emotional support, and deeper alignment. And yes, I'm getting emotional, I'm getting ranty because it really does work. Now, again, these are not replacements for responsibility. A business still needs planning, action, communication, and the follow through. It still needs that. They both work so well together. I'm the example of that. I'm doing a Cert 3 in visual arts. I am being so creative, yet I'm still creating podcast episodes. I get that turned into clips, into reels. I create content. And guess what? I'm not putting as much content out there because the content I do is inspired and I have a system for it. I want you to understand that spiritual tools can absolutely support your business journey. They can help you reconnect to yourself, understand your values. They can spark creativity. They can help you process emotions and make those aligned decisions. They are not substitutes for business plans, though. They are not substitutes for structure. At some point, the vision needs structure. The ideas need the implementation. And the inspiration needs grounded action underneath it. Businesses are not built only through intuition. They're built through consistency, planning, being adaptable, and the willingness to turn ideas into something real. And honestly, that doesn't make your business less spiritual. It makes it functional. As I said, I had intuitive downloads, and that's why I'm recording these podcast episodes now. And then I have a plan. Once the episodes of, because I'm recording on Zoom, once it's done at Sing, I will have them put up into YouTube and onto my podcast platform. I would do that because I have the ability to do it. This is what I love about my business. It is intuitive, it is spiritual, it is metaphysical, and it is business. It is structure, it is standard operating procedures. It is all of that together. Thank you so much for watching, listening, subscribing, sharing, commenting. Whatever you do to support me as a small business owner, I truly, truly appreciate it. Wishing you a beautiful day wherever you are in this world.